What's your passion? What makes you wake up every morning? What keeps you up at night? What values do you believe in? What problems do you want to solve? Lastly, what makes you, you? Hi, this is Jen Kahukom, and welcome to Your Brand, Your Story podcast, where we share stories and conversations about humanness and authenticity. Scientific studies have proven that the average reaction time of humans is 0.25 seconds to a visual stimulus, 0.17 seconds for an audio stimulus, and 0.15 seconds for a touch stimulus. When I was about 19 years old, I was hit by a motorcycle while crossing the street. I was looking after my aunt who was confined after giving birth that time. And when lunchtime came, I decided to order food from a cafe that was just across the hospital. So as I was crossing the highway, the jeepney on my left side had already halted to a full stop to let me cross. When all of a sudden, a motorcycle behind it didn't overtake and hit me. At that very moment, I instantly thought of avoiding my back from hitting the ground by landing on my right palm on the hot asphalted ground. I thought it was just an injury that I could ignore since I was able to save my back. So I went on and walked towards the cafe, already embarrassed, and ordered a takeout. And going back to my aunt's room, I even enjoyed the lunch that I bought. But I had already half expected that my hand would feel differently while holding the spoon. After eating my takeout, I even peeled some chestnuts by manually cracking them with my hands. I managed to endure the excruciating pain because I love chestnuts. Later that day, I ended up having my right hand checked by an x-ray. And by nighttime, that same hand was already immobilized by a splint. It was a miracle that no fracture was incurred. And the extreme pain was only caused by the inflammation from the impact. And after this experience, as I got older, I realized that our reaction to any situation is a good indication for predicting our future. And in the same manner, our response helps us create our future. In 2004, I attended a training on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. And the first of the 7 habits states, be proactive. From what I learned, being proactive means more than taking initiative. It actually means taking responsibility for our lives, for our future, and that our behavior or response is a function of our decisions and not our conditions. Viktor Frankl once said, between a stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and freedom. Stress. Stress has actually become a metaphor of our existence. More often than not, we treat it as an enemy. We feel that our negative responses are justified because the nature of the stimulus is not favorable to us. I remember my time when I had to cope to what I have labeled as stress. And I also remember having to recall that I eventually coped with it by just asking myself this question. Was there anything that I passed or completed successfully that was not stressful? And no matter how small that task is, and I would always get none for an answer. And that kept me going. And that, I guess, was how I used that space. If you're listening to this, I would assume that some of you would perhaps become entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, or are already entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, freelancers. Yes, what I'm trying to say is, let us be reminded that it's not always about making money. Because let's face it, it could be a source of stress. Really, it's about creating value for the people and the causes we care about. It's about making a difference and fulfilling a purpose, which, by the way, in a blink of an eye, can be taken away. You see, that space that I'm talking about, no matter how small, gives us control. So it is just fitting to take that control. Personally, I realized this, that if I wanted to become a leader, or even just a better person, I need that space to be in control, to see the opportunity instead of the problem, to be the bigger person, and yes, to do what's good. See, that space is a choice, our choice, a gift, a chance to be closer to our goals and to be closer to fulfilling our purpose and the chance to create our future. And more often than not, we predict our own future by associating it with our present goals. But we always tend to focus on the destination, but not on the journey. In today's digital age, the internet will disrupt practically every industry imaginable, whether it's tourism, transportation, healthcare, agriculture, energy, security, whatever, even disaster management. And to top that, we are closing in on a world with very minute reaction times and immediate responses to changing conditions. The key here is to not think small, not to merely react, but to take control. The key here is to enlarge that minute of a space. And as we create value, let us anticipate the challenges and criticisms, because this will minimize the chances of merely reacting. Again, enlarge that space. Instead, let us be grateful. Now, let's try to ask ourselves this question. Are our goals transformational or transactional? Let's give it some serious thought. Money, if you think about it, can be limiting if you immediately focus on it. But if you focus on the value that you can give to people, I'm telling you, you'll get endless possibilities. If anything, make business be about purpose. If we get that purpose right, profit will definitely follow. No trade-offs. It would be great, actually, to make business be about caring and not for self-interest. Imagine how the world would look like if we have the ability to enlarge that space as we continuously play this infinite game called life. And imagine the power that you can have to predict your own future by deciding what to fill it with, by deciding to fill every space that you can take advantage of with better human decisions on how to respond, by making a choice that will not only benefit yourself, but also the people and the causes you care about. And as for me, I am thankful, because after that accident years ago, I'm still able to walk. I can shake hands with people. I can still sign documents and help people fulfill their dreams. And I can pat people's back and celebrate their victory. I can even do a fist bump if I want to. And that gesture would feel natural to me. And it's all because I chose what to do with that minute of a space. I'll leave it at that. Thank you for listening to today's episode. This has been your brand, your story. Stories and conversations about humanness and authenticity. And I'm your host, Jen Kahukom. Do you have a story to share? Send me a message by visiting my website at jenkahukom.asia.